Hey guys, as you can tell, my unit has something to do about the food chain. My unit is a thematic unit incorporating both language arts standards and science standards, as well as technology standards. Let's start by going over our standards. This unit addresses the science standards, life science. All organisms need energy and matter to live and grow. As a basis for understanding this concept, students know producers and consumers are related in food chains and food webs and may compete with each other for resources in an ecosystem. Also, living organisms depend on one another and their environment for survival. Another science standard this unit addresses is investigation and experimentation. Scientific progress is made by asking meaningful questions and conducting careful investigations. As a basis for understanding this concept and addressing the content in the other three strands, students should develop their own questions and perform investigations. Students will follow a set of written instructions for a scientific investigation. Moving on to the language arts standards addressed in this unit, we have comprehension and analysis of grade level appropriate texts. Students will make and confirm predictions about text by using prior knowledge and ideas presented in the text itself, including illustrations, titles, topic sentences, important words, and foreshadowing clues. Also, students will take a look at the structural features of literature. Students will describe the structural differences of various imaginative forms of literature, including fantasies, fables, myths, legends, and fairy tales. Moving on to the technology standards, we have creativity and innovation. Students demonstrate creative thinking, construct knowledge, and develop innovative products and processes using technologies. Students apply existing knowledge to generate new ideas, products, or processes. They create original works as a means of personal or group expression and use models and simulations to explore complex systems and issues. You will see these technology standards come to life as I go through my unit more in depth. Moving on, we have communication and collaboration. Students use digital media and environments to communicate and work collaboratively, including at a distance, to support individual learning and contribute to the learning of others. Here in my unit, we'll see this as we Skype in to an expert about the food chain. Students will interact, collaborate, and publish with peers, experts, and other employing a variety of digital environments and media. Students will communicate information and ideas effectively to multiple audiences using a variety of media and formats, and students will contribute to project teams to produce original works or solve problems. Moving on to research and information fluency. Students apply digital tools to gather, evaluate, and use information. Students plan strategies to guide inquiry. Students locate, organize, analyze, evaluate, synthesize, and ethically use information for a variety of sources of media. And students process data and report results. Moving on to critical thinking, problem solving, and decision making. Students use critical thinking skills to plan and conduct research, manage projects, solve problems, and make informed decisions using appropriate digital tools and resources. Students plan and manage activities to develop a solution or complete a project. And students collect and analyze data to identify solutions and/or make informed decisions. Digital citizenship. Students understand human, cultural, and societal issues related to technology and practice legal and ethical behavior. Students exhibit a positive attitude towards using technology that supports collaboration, learning, and productivity. Students demonstrate personal responsibility for lifelong learning. And finally, technology operations and concepts. Students demonstrate a sound understanding of technology concepts, systems, and operations. Students understand and use technology systems. Students select and use applications effectively and productively, and students transfer current knowledge to learning of new technologies. You are probably wondering by now what this unit is all about. Let's take a look. This thematic unit uses the book Poppy by Avey to introduce concepts about the food chain. Students will participate in a literature study as they learn to analyze the story looking at character and theme development. As students are introduced to more characters and the storyline progresses, students will begin to see the connection to the food chain. Students will continue to participate in various activities throughout the unit to gain a better understanding of the food chain and the role that animals and plants play in this chain. The first objective for this unit is students will utilize various forms of technology to help master the concepts. Students will also participate in meaningful learning activities to make meaning of the life science content present in the story. Students will take a closer look at the characters in the book and their relationship to one another. Students will identify the themes of the story and understand the character progression, and students will dissect virtual owl pellets to gain a better understanding of the food chain and how it works. And finally, students will create their own food chain and be able to identify the different parts of their particular food chain, identifying producers and consumers. Let's now move on to discover how I will reach the multiple intelligences represented in my classroom using various forms of technology. To reach the verbal and linguistic learners, the unit incorporates activities such as completing a character trait graphic organizer on the smartboard as a class, and discussing the story with literature circle groups, and also creating a podcast book trailer persuading others around the world to read Poppy. For those students who are interpersonal learners, activities such as interactive Jeopardy, creating presentations on Google Docs with a partner, and completing a web quest with a partner will be just right. Bodily kinesthetic learners will get a kick out of participating in a food chain scavenger hunt, playing interactive computer games, dissecting virtual owl pellets, and acting out a scene from Poppy that will be recorded for other classmates to see. Those who are interpersonal learners will enjoy watching food chain videos, drawing their own food chain using Paint or AppleWorks, and utilizing the class wiki and their blogger accounts to share their thoughts about Poppy. The naturalist learners will be engaged by listening to an expert on the food chain via Skype, exploring and manipulating an ecosystem gizmo, and organizing their findings from the virtual owl pellet. For those who are visual spatial learners, activities such as watching video clips, using AppleWorks or Paint to summarize the story, and using Kidspiration to create thinking maps will be just what they are looking for. Musical learners will enjoy memorizing songs about the food chain, selecting musical pieces to describe the mood of different scenes in the story, and listening to an audio version of Poppy. To reach the logical mathematical learners, the unit incorporates activities such as playing interactive games about the food chain, creating flashcards using a special website, and using an online dictionary to learn more about vocabulary words. To learn more about the food chain, stay tuned.
Every living thing is part of the food chain, and there are three main categories. The sun provides the energy for these to grow. They make their own food in case you didn't know. Growing in the ground, picking vegetables and fruits. Animals and people eat them, even the roots. I know what it is, let me tell you, sir. It's a producer. They depend on producers for their food. Eating healthy plants and other animals, dude. You are one of these and so is your dad. So go eat an apple before it goes bad. I know what it is, let me tell you, sir. It's a consumer. Dead animals and plants disappear in the ground from microscopic organisms breaking them down. The nutrients from this decomposing matter is good for the soil, making new plants happier. I know what it is, let me tell you, sir. A decomposer. Don't break the food chain.